Okay, so hi everyone, and today we're not going to be typing Andrew Shaw because apparently that's someone who's in the OP group, so not the same person as I'd looked up on the YouTube. So we're gonna type. I'm gonna type. Try typing Andy Richter, and apparently he's this sidekick guy who's always on the side there in Conan. That's like just the first thing I looked up. But I don't know anything else about him. And so here he is, Andy Richter, and I've got to write that down here. Any preamble? Something I did want to mention from last time. Was about at one moment I said, "Oh, he looks like he's got undeveloped F, like sort of childish F," and I thought that might have meant demon F, but actually, talking about Andrew Garfield, actually, now I'm thinking I could have been picking up on the FI because he's FI second, masculine FI, so maybe that is what I was picking up on, was like he's not talking about the spectrum of feelings, he's talking about FI is very the feelings that they talk about seem very childish to FE people because they're very intense and they're very primary. They're primal. Seems more primal, like primary colours. So FE will be looking at all the different shades of colours and thinking, oh, and like extra complex feelings that are context related, and F is like, I like this, I hate this, I'm jealous, like very very standard. And so maybe that's why it felt like it was less demon F, when actually it was savior F, but just intensely on the FI and not sort of glossing over all the possible feelings. They're both valid, but that's my point of view because I'm FE axis, possibly because of that I saw that. Okay, because I am FE axis, I know it. It's true. Okay, so let's jump into typing now. Good. Yes, still recording. That's good. I have now a keyboard which is not friggin' clackety clack, so hopefully that's going to be good for your ears and mine. But let's see. Let's listen to some of this guy. Ah, fuck! I haven't done this yet. Didn't do whoop. Headphones. Oh, I didn't even mention. Did you like my lovely face paint makeup? I did it myself today. I'm just experimenting with different things, and I wanted to do a bit of face painting, so I did that. Okay. Come on, are we good? Starting. 1, 2, 1, 2. Andy Richter. Let's go. Fuck. Okay. Oh yes, I did want to say one more thing. My motivation for learning to type is increasing by the day. Based on all of you guys who have been typed by Shan and Dave, and who know, because they have been typed, they understand what Dave and Shan really mean, because they have seen it in themselves. And I have not been typed, so actually I'm completely out of it and not understanding anything about what typing is. And I'm like, oh guys, okay, if you want, I'll just learn to type. I'll show you that I do, because I mean, yeah, whatever. It's so funny. I'm like, I'm gonna show you. Because it's funny, there's all these people, they can't type themselves, so but they feel like they've got some authority above people who haven't been typed yet. And I'm like, well, I'm typing fine, thank you very much. Okay, so let's go. Andy on the podcast. world.
Yeah, yeah. If there's not going to be like an emotional component, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't speak to me, dude.
Yeah.
I'll keep all the Howard Stern plants then. I get it all to myself.
Dude,
So
Stern is gonna be pissed at you. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Gus and Eddie podcast.
Oh, you just started it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Did you have a problem? Did you have any grievances you like?
I thought
to
you
air?
maybe would want to ask Andy if we wanted to
Hold
start.
on, really quick. Andy, would you like to start the podcast?
It's already started. Why
So you
would
didn't give you robbed him of a choice.
Dude, we
No,
don't know.
no, it's fine.
We
It's
actually
fine.
haven't learned how to use the snip tool and cut stuff out yet either.
I've been recording since the moment I walked through the door, so that's going to be my podcast.
You got the little spyglass shit things going in here.
That's funny.
What I'm noticing as we're starting too is instead of maybe down through the table, we decided to have the cord just completely stretch across the frame.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
might
do that.
Might loosen the load a little bit here for it.
That's a load bearing cord. Careful of that.
But Andy, thank you for being on the podcast. Holy
You're
shit.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
This is probably, I think you're the biggest guest, so there you go. You're holding that. You and T-Pain are battling each other.
Oh, T-Pain? Was T-Pain in here?
He didn't come here. It was during COVID, but he said at the end, I'd love to come do it in person.
Oh, wow.
So maybe we should have done a T-Pain and Andy episode.
Oh, that would have been
good.
nice.
A lot of
yeah.
Who's
crossover on
T-Pain?
that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Come
Wow.
on.
Dude, you're
let's
like in
hear
the
him
Grove
talk.
and you're like right on the strip, and then someone just.
Illinois, and I don't know where that came from, but I mean when it was on SNL,
Yeah.
like
Right,
the
yeah.
first time, and I mean Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, neither one of them have any Illinois connections as far as I know. I think
assume
Mike
they
Myers was in Second City at Chicago, but I don't think, like, why pick Aurora?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because especially people I know that just moved to Chicago and didn't grow up in Illinois don't know Aurora ever.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe they just looked at a map and just picked it out just a
be.
little bit
Funny
further
name.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's not a bad choice for the comedic purposes of it, because Roar's kind of a bummer. Yeah, yeah, it was where I grew up. Aurora was like when you went to town, that's where you went. Like going into the Chicago, that was fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
you
next
wouldn't
level.
do that. Yeah, unless it was a Cubs game or a Bears game or like maybe a museum. You didn't, it wasn't until I was probably 17, 18 that I, dared go in the city to see a concert or something.
I used to get so overwhelmed going to Chicago, just being around that much when I was a kid. It was like
Yeah.
too much for me to handle.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
always just like be like, okay, there's way more people than I thought.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people alive than I was currently thinking
And
about.
it's so funny in reference to like other cities. It's a pretty comfortable,
Yeah.
easy city.
Yeah.
Did you do like? I saw you did a lot of improv shit. Was that like in the heart of Chicago where you started doing that, or like?
Yeah. I went to film school in Chicago. I started out at U of I in Champaign-Urbana, and then I transferred to Columbia College to go to film school, which the best part of that was that I had been out of the house for 2 years in Champaign, and then I had to move back home. That was awesome. It was really, really good. And so I commuted into Chicago. And when I graduated, well, I didn't graduate, but when I was done, I'm like this close to graduate. I finished all the classes, but I realized too, like, I don't need to do that screenplay and those 2 papers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I was working for a moving company, and then I started working in film production. And so I was already kind of, had my eye on working in show business. And I also had acted a lot in film school because nobody knows any actors. And if you're halfway decent at a screening, afterwards you'll have 3 people say, hey, will you be in my horrible movie that'll take 36 hours of your time next weekend? And a friend of mine started taking classes at Improv Olympic, and that seemed there was Second City and there was Improv Olympic, and at the time the Second City seemed like a lot of classes for not much. I had to go through these 5 levels of classes before you got on stage. And Improv Olympic was much looser. Del Close, who's like this improv guru, was teaching there. And so I just started there and really kind of, it suited me because.
So I'm writing down that he's taking time with this blast. It doesn't seem like he's in a hurry. Like, I would feel like I'm being, people are waiting for me to say something to get to the point and to finish up what I'm saying so that someone else can say something. and he's like just doing, and he's talking, and while he's talking he'll like add a little bit on and then carry on. Like he's got his general thing he's saying, but is comfortable adding extra bits on, like oh, so I was filming there, but like you the culture there is that if you present twice then someone will see you, so anyway I did that and then I did this. See, it's like a tangent. Comfortable with tangents. That's anecdotally play above blast. But it's funny, like yesterday, 2 days ago, Andrew Garfield, he was talking very like that kind of way as I'm describing, and he was sleep, blast, play, consume. So he didn't have consume above blast or play above blast, and I felt like he was very, not moving on with his blast, even though it was double activated blast. So as I'm thinking, maybe that's NF blast. Well, not NF blast, NF saviors and blasting. Maybe that. Otherwise, if it's the blast functions. Okay, well, we're not typing Andrew Garfield today, anyway. But just to say, you can't get that much out of this. Maybe one day I'll be able to make it all out, all the differences.
I didn't know if I wanted to perform and I wanted to write, and this was like a nice combination of the two, and I didn't have to think about it or do any homework.
Yeah.
I could just do
Show
it.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a facility for it, so it was like, oh, okay,
That's, I think, in a way what attracted us to the internet stuff, where it was just kind of like, I don't know if I can handle like all of the mastering everything to make stuff, and this is like the real, I can just kind of put it out there right away and do something. Not saying that it's like ultra similar, but I still think it's kind of that. I don't think I can go to film school and learn everything and be really good as like a director and then figure it out. I don't think I have the capacity for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so nice to just not have to run shit past people too. Like you
Yeah.
can just get some tape and paper and be like, I'm a pilot. See,
Right,
it's on
right.
here's my dumb thing.
I mean, it's great practice, and practice is what you need. And for performing, it's stage time. And at Improv Olympic, you got stage. As soon as the woman that ran the thing thought you were competent, she'd put you on stage because it's like, oh yeah, there we go. There's somebody to, sell 2-for-1s, or hand out 2-for-1s on the street.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, how do shows work and stuff? Like, do you ever have any? You just trying to get people in off the seats, or I don't even know how like the big improv scene would work.
It would be, well, Improv Olympic, it had like a following. However, the junior teams, because they were like different teams, and I don't maybe 6 teams at a time that were like 6 or 7 people each. The junior teams, it would be like the entire audience would be just all friends of whoever was up there.
That's great.
Yeah, and I mean the UCB is kind of like that too. Like you go to shows of like younger people and you realize like, oh, these are all just people.
Yeah.
And but we would stand at L stops and pass out 2-for-1s and like drink tickets and flyers and stuff.
I have to notice that I'm not at all interested in what the heck he's talking about. Really not interested, and getting distracted, which is not his fault, but finding it hard to stay concentrated. I'm quite bored. Does that count as a remark? I'm quite bored. I think I'm going to stop putting spaces in between the lines, because I always end up having just enough room, and that I use that as an indication to say, okay, time to make a guess and wrap it up. But okay, hopefully this will help having more room. I'm not engaged in this video. I'm kind of still thinking about the Facebook discussions at the same time, so that's distracting, like processing that at the same time. But I'm trying here. Breaks the Conan couch. He's always like on the other side of the girl, and it kind of seems a bit like weird, like she's surrounded by these two older guys, and it's like, ugh, don't. But it's all right, really. But I mean, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Andy gave you good Celebrity Jeopardy advice?
Oh wait, Conan. Am I allowed to watch Conan? I'm gonna just be careful about that one, because they might just hop on and say, nope, not allowed to watch. Which ones? Ugh, fuck. All these shows you're not allowed to watch. Team fucking Coco. Okay.
And the attitude is, and can I swear on this? Is that okay?
Yes.
It's like, if you don't like it, fuck you.
Fuck you.
There's a lot less
If you don't like it, fuck you. Okay.
money. There just is. I'm not the hottest shit in the world, but I've been around and I have a track record. So to just go get a guest spot on a sitcom, which I still do, I get paid about half what I got paid maybe 10 years ago. It all just comes down to the audience being spread. There's, sitcoms on now that get numbers that I got canceled for, and they're considered successes. It's a lot more people scrambling for a smaller audience. Like, one of our most popular features on the Conan show is the gamer videos that he does, and that I think was just a calculation. Like, young people are doing video games. Let's have Conan play video games, and he'll be bad at it. And it's become like hugely popular. But I watch my kids watch YouTube videos of people playing video games, and I'm absolutely baffled by it. And web content.
He's baffled by what people find entertaining, because it's not what he finds entertaining. That's a very FI statement. That one at the beginning, if you don't like it, fuck you. This is a very FI statement. I'll just write it down. If you don't like it, fuck you. Also doesn't understand new television. Okay. Ah, fuck. What? Is this a new keyboard? I'm not totally at home with it. It's my Arabic keyboard with stickers on, which I bought in Morocco. Question mark. Mustn't forget the question mark.
Actually, we're kind of, the Team Coco website is kind of state of the art. Conan would agree that he was advised by really savvy people when he left the Tonight Show and went to get, and left the Tonight Show and then the TBS show. But he created his own digital online presence, and it is strong. It's a real going concern, much more so than any other late night show. I mean, it's like it's kind of its own thing apart from the Conan show. In terms of like being pressured to do digital stuff, we kind of started our own, and he owns it, and it's so that's not a problem. But that is a problem everywhere else. It's kind of calmed down though. When I started the show Andy Barker PI on NBC, that was when all this kind of digital content kind of started happening. Like, they literally wanted us in between shots to go shoot like a little sketch for the website. In the middle of like shooting a television show that you're just boiling your brain trying to make it as good as you can. And they're like, oh, could you go do a little mini show too while you're doing that?
Annoyed by expending extra energy. It's funny, people are saying like play is like interacting with the tribe or something. For me, it's much simpler. It's like play versus sleep. It's like, at its core, it's expending energy versus preserving energy. At least. Yeah, that's how I'm interpreting it, and it's definitely been a useful interpretation for me because I need to learn how to preserve energy and be efficient with my energy. And that's something I'm having trouble doing. So if you're not calling that sleep last, you could call it something else. But anyway, that's the way I interpret it, and I think it's quite correct. I mean, there's different things like sleep. There's different levels to sleep processing. It's not just making sure your energy is not, you have enough of it and you're preserving it. It's also, going through the known things over again, and all that counts as processing as well, which is something I also have been working on. But I think if you don't want to get too distracted by all the definitions, you just go off of expending energy versus preserving energy. And save your sleep, the answer is usually, but we should probably be more conservative and not expend too much energy. And the play saviors is, we should probably try to pump more out. That's the solution. And so in this case, he was just complaining about having to expend more energy. There's reasons I interpret this way as well, observing other people. So my girlfriend, who we have typed her as play last, and you see that coming out like resistance to just expend energy. And blast is different because it's like it's information, but it's also doing. They say blast last is like you can't get yourself out of a paper bag. It's like you can't get on with it, which is different from expending energy. You can get on with it by doing it efficiently or by doing it inefficiently. Anyway, complaining about expending extra energy. Sleep. I write sleep with a Z because I'm cool like that.
Like while you're cooking dinner for 20, could you also like make a roast turkey? Just throw one in the oven.
That's funny. So that's obvious to him. Like, come on, guys. I'm already boiling my brain out here, doing my best to make a good show, and you're asking me to do extra. Come on. I've been getting a lot of sleep from the beginning, which is surprising because he's like on Conan and all. This is an old Conan. Oh no, 5 months ago. But this is from before, isn't it? Air date 95. See, how long is it? Okay, maybe we can watch this. Maybe they won't. Will they be annoying about it? They might be if it was just aired recently. Well, uploaded recently. Andy retires. All these Conan. I was very proud of Conan. Okay, here's
TV
with
Guide
this
named
guy.
the NBC late
Whatever
night
his name-
time
what's his
slot.
name? Larry King. Larry King, the legend. The legend.
Shuffle.
Apparently.
The biggest television blunder of all time.
Yes.
The switching.
Well,
Probably way up there, isn't it?
What? Oh, this is only 2 minutes again. All these videos are only 2 minutes long. Ooh, this is better. Here, let's watch this.
On Larry King now and
goes up and spit out. But she'd been on the show a number of times, and like I say, I like her, so I know what she's gonna. I know there at some point
she's gonna slam.
I can expect us,
but I like her, so no. He's not being a masculine on the tribe, you see. He's not being like, yeah, but there's a certain nervousness to masculine tribe, masculine DE, which is interesting. It's like you're nervous and you're pushing back to defend yourself. And the feminine DE is like I don't want to hurt you. Like you're being extra careful not to hurt the tribe. And masculine DE is like, you're afraid of being hurt. Like, don't hurt me, don't hurt me.
Just a sideways slap.
Plus,
A big dividing line is in the commercial break when you say hello to somebody, are they still in publicity mode? Because that I just feel like, what are you doing? You can be off the clock with me. I don't care.
it's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. He's one of my favorite people. He's Andy Richter, the actor and writer. He starred in the Emmy-nominated Fox series. Andy Richter
We did
controls
fax
the
it a lot.
universe, and they faxed that show out. And Andy Barker, PI on NBC. But he's best known for his role as the announcer and sidekick to Conan O'Brien on the show Conan, which airs weeknights on TBS. Before we get into anything else,
All right.
no doubt there's been serious discussion about
Imagine being introduced as the sidekick. Some people would be like, that's amazing. Conan's like super famous and I get to be a sidekick. That's awesome. And some people would be like, I don't want to be the sidekick. I wonder how he takes it.
about your exchange with Chelsea Handler.
Well, I don't know how serious the discussion's
Apparently,
been.
Chelsea
There's been a
asked
lot of
Conan and
Facebook
Andy
action.
asked Conan and Andy if they enjoy the ocean. Andy said, I like the ocean. Chelsea responded, that's great. Do you float a lot in the ocean? Andy was one step ahead of her and said, sure. Do you sink? It might be that cast iron heart.
Yes.
What happened since then?
Well, I say smart aleck crap to people all the time.
Like me.
Yes, like you. Exactly.
What
You've been-
happened? I'm not concentrated.
Ahead of her and said, sure. Asked Conan and Andy.
Discussion's
Apparently,
been-
Chelsea
there's been a
asked
lot of
Conan and
Facebook
Andy
action.
asked Conan and Andy if they enjoy the ocean. Andy said, I like the ocean. Chelsea responded, that's great. Do you float a lot in the ocean? Andy was one step ahead of her and said, sure. Do you sink? It might be that cast iron heart.
Yes.
What happened since then?
Well, I say smart aleck crap to people all the time.
Like me.
Yes, like you. Exactly. You've been a
constant.
constant target. Well, and not just me. Our entire show has made a cottage industry out of picking on you.
So what happened with Chelsea?
She said that, and I like Chelsea. She's been on the show a number of times. She used to actually. I used to be more kind of off-put by her because she would do. She makes fat jokes. It's something she does frequently. But she used to kind of make fat jokes and then say something like, "But boy, I'd climb all over you all night." Things like that, or So she'd sort of
A cop-out.
Yeah, well, no, like slap me and then flatter me,
Yeah,
and
it's a
and
cop-out.
flirt with me. Yeah, kind of a cop out, I guess. But the
He's like a cop out, and he's saying no. She was like trying to balance it. I'm getting kind of a cat energy out of that. Like she's been sort of poking at him, and it was like on the edge of acceptable. Like she's being playful, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just being playful. Don't get offended." But she is actually kind of poking. It doesn't feel kind. You're not joking with the person. You're sort of, I don't know how you'd explain it. Just doesn't feel right. So I'm saying cat energy snap back about fat jokes. And cat energy is masculine FI, so feminine DE. Feminine DE is like the cat energy because you sort of don't want to be a bother too much. You're afraid of hurting the tribe, so you sort of let a lot of things slide, and after a while you've had enough, and that's when you go, "Oh, no more. I have had enough." Whereas if you just from the get-go snapped back and say, "Hey, don't do that," like over the top reaction early on, then maybe she would have gotten the message and would have done it less.
Flirting I can take insults, but flirting terrifies me. She'd been on the show a number of times, and like I say, I like her, so I know what she's gonna. I know at some point
She's gonna slap.
I can expect just a sideways slap, but it got onto Facebook, and people are way more upset about it than I was. To me, it was just a chance to be a smart
Was she upset
aleck.
at your retort?
Oh, I don't think so. She laughed at the time, and I mean, I don't get the feeling that that she gets her feelings don't get hurt.
Why did that go viral?
I have no idea. I mean,
Maybe it's the tribe's cat energy. Like they were like, "Hey, you're being a bit mean now." Or maybe maybe that was just a tidal wave for this lady, who has been kind of punching all over the place and asking for it, and so now the tribe was like, "Okay, now you've got to learn something." He's not being a super decider about it in this situation. This is a decider conversation, but is he being a decider? Is he a decider? Is the question. And he seems quite balanced about it. He's like other people are way more upset about it than I was. That's conversation, but not all in. Not all in.
I mean, I am a genius.
Admittedly.
Yeah, and I mean, no, I think it just was. People look for those kind of like little punchy little nuggets that get to be easily taken out.
When Richter speaks, people listen. That could be it.
Only.
Now, your buddy
tell that to
Conan,
my family.
your buddy, I understand, was stirring up his own drama online this week with former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright.
Yes.
At Conan O'Brien, he said, "I picked out my Halloween costume. I'm going as slutty Madeleine Albright."
Yes.
And at Madeleine Albright, she retorts, "I'm considering going as hunky Conan O'Brien, but that might be too far-fetched."
Right.
How do you get into a slugging war with our friend, my dear friend, the Jewess Madeleine Albright?
The Jewess?
Yes, she's
Does she
a
have
Jewess.
that on her business card?
She found out late, but she is a Jewess. How did that start?
Well, I love too that she is kicking his ass in retweets and favorites.
Yeah, I know it's going on. And on.
Yeah. That starts because he said something kind of snotty about Madeleine Albright, and God bless her, she struck back at him.
I want to ask, in this modern world, who comes up with the idea of picking on Madeleine Albright? I mean, where did that come from?
There are plenty of times. Look, because I'm active on Twitter, and there's plenty of times where you think of a joke, and then you need a name. And and so you kind of think like, who would be the funniest name? And so he probably went through like, oh, maybe Barbara Walters. No, that wouldn't work. Let's see. He probably, because it's
funny.
making fun of an elderly woman, and
it's funny.
so I mean,
not
it's
in
a
the
little,
news anymore.
it's a little sexist, it's a little ageist, and God
And
bless
she
her,
has a
she
good-
came back. Yeah, that's great.
Was it your idea to have me in the rafters?
No, it was not my idea. I actually don't know whose idea it was, but it was.
I wish I knew what Larry King's type was. You know, you get much more insight into what his questions are about, where they're coming from. You know, his questions will be more predictable if you know what his type is. You're like, okay, that's what kind of question he's likely to ask. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to type Larry King one day.
We did it 3 or 4 times.
It was great.
I told her I'd go back and do it.
Yeah.
I haven't had it in a while.
And those rafters are historic. You can see.
Oh wow! You climb up. And
Yeah,
there's autographs.
Yeah, there's like 70-year-old
I know Humphrey
graffiti up
Bogart has
there.
got
Yeah,
things really weird. By the way, what makes someone a sidekick?
A sidekick?
What makes a good sidekick?
A profoundly codependent personality. You know, I don't. You know,
I think he's a double decider, but I haven't seen him talk about things yet.
in some ways, I feel like I was tailor-made for
the
this
job?
position. Yeah, because you know I'm sort of a middle child in the family, and I was always kind of the keeper of the morale in the family, and in many ways, I think that going through my life, I've always kind of, before I ever had to answer the question of what do I want, I've been around people who let me know what they wanted first.
Second banana.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, all right, well, we'll do what you do, and
That's funny that he'd describe it that way. You know, saying, "Oh, it's been in my life. I learnt that other people will tell me what they want." And it might be true. It might be the fact that there was often that, but he sort of attributed his current personality to growing up that way. Whereas, you know, someone who had a different personality might have counterattacked much more strongly and would have come out with a different, you know, different belief system. So I'm writing not overblown ego. Letting people go first. And again, is that feminine DE possible? But maybe savior DE. Maybe savior DE. You know, tribe above self. You're like, you go first. I'll wait. You're more important.
in some ways it's a neuroses, you know, and there's plenty of times now where I think like, you know, I should maybe have a little more firm opinions about what I expect out of this
Tony
life.
Randall's played that role.
Yeah.
It's the second guy in a movie, Rock Hudson.
Yeah.
And we need a best friend. More with Andy Richter coming up next.
I like him though. He's a nice guy. He's like a jolly fat guy. Don't tell him I said that.
Go away. We're back with one of my favorite people, Andy Richter, sidekick of Conan. How did you and Conan hook up?
Sidekick of Conan. That's hard out. Is he DI? The way he says it, I mean, Larry King is Larry King DI, because the way he says it, it seems like he's kind of criticizing him as, or like judging him, like who lets themselves be a sidekick? Like it's like being a sidekick is an insult. Or maybe that's just the way I'm interpreting it.
We hooked up at Junior's Deli here in Los Angeles.
Where you met?
Yeah, that's where we. That's the way that it worked is that I had a friend who was on Saturday Night Live for a season when I was in New York doing a live show. And I met Robert Smigel there, who was a writer at SNL at the time. And then the same live show that I was doing in New York, came out to LA in one summer, and Robert was here, working on the ill-fated Hans and Franz movie, which Arnold Schwarzenegger pulled the plug on because he was poking fun at himself in Last Action Hero and it bombed. So no more making fun of myself. So I met Robert, and we hit it off. I mean, we just kind of basically went out drinking and driving a lot. That's, what you do when you're young and stupid in Los Angeles. And then when Conan got the job, which I heard about, same way anybody else did. It was, oh, this Simpsons writer. Robert and Conan had been friends and done a lot of work together, and Robert was kind of part of the deal. Right? It was Robert was going to be the kind of head writer of the show.
Met at the deli.
And then Robert facilitated a meeting, and we
hit it off.
We hit it off. I think he was fascinated by the fact that I ordered borscht and a knish.
Well, it's Russian and
for him that was like Martian food, yeah. And I left the Conan show in 2000. And
why did you leave?
To come out here and try to do stuff
That was late night, right?
Yeah, I left the late night show in 2000, and I came out here, and I had I was the star of 3 different sitcoms, 2 of which I had a hand in producing and creating. And one of which I was kind of just an actor in, and for some, how TV is, for one reason or another.
Did you miss Conan when you were away?
Yeah, but I mean, we did. It's not like we didn't keep up. It's not like we weren't friendly. Yeah, and every time I went back to New York, I used to just go there and
then
hang
he
out.
Came out here to do the Tonight Show. You hooked up again, right?
He asked me before he came out. We had a secret dinner in New York. I flew out to have a secret dinner, and
dinner.
Yeah. Well, he actually asked me on the phone.
He's blasting quite a lot now. It's funny. He's looking down. He's sort of trying to remember all the details. I just suddenly thought it seems like he's respecting the information. He wants to be able to relate accurate information. Worried about relating accurate info. Infodom? Does that mean infodom? Okay. What else is he doing? He's saying, I'm getting a kind of a S vibe where he's saying a lot of facts. It's not... I'm quite bored is true. Maybe that's why I'm bored, because it's just facts. Not much spice in it. No, I shouldn't say spice. He's not jumping on concepts. So what am I saying? Relating facts. S? Question mark. S as in censor.
Called me one night at home, which wasn't unusual. I mean, we would chat on the phone, but he called me, and it was weird because when I picked up the phone and it was him, and I said, "Oh," and I thought, I wonder if he's going to ask me to do the Tonight Show with him. And I hadn't thought of it at all. It was just something, and he did. He asked me.
He's giving a lot of details. I remember thinking this, and then it's like, and then he did. It's still kind of scattered though. I feel like I have a lot of focus on blast. But I mean, when you're watching interviews, that's what people are doing mainly. It's blasting a lot. I mean, of course, if there's someone else. But he's blasting. I was going to say he's blasting more than he's playing around with Larry. But I also think that might be Larry's style. He's got this style where he just interjects a small question and then the ball carries on rolling. Because to try to get the focus on you, on the person I'm interviewing. It's quite animated. He's not very relaxed, really. He's not playing around, joking around.
And
You say yes right away?
pretty much, I said I'm going to talk to my wife about it. But there was a part of me. The main reason was because I was happy. Number one, I came out here and I was the star of 3 different sitcoms. I felt a little chewed up and spit out.
Yeah.
And they 3 things come in threes, like 3 strikes. And then it was a little bit like, yeah. You in a sitcom, right. So I was really happy, and I also was trying to develop things, which is an awful process. It's pearls before swine, if I may say. And I was happy to just go back to a place with people that I knew and loved, and just be able to make TV every day. Go and make TV every day, like what you do here. You just get to make TV every day. You don't have to
Okay. Yeah, it's
think
fun.
about it
Brain
and
surgery.
run it through all these filtration
In
systems.
2010, TV Guide named the NBC
I want it to just be easy and just do the same thing every day. And not complicated filtration systems. Is that a demon observer, single observer kind of thing, where it's like all these controls and tiring. Oh, so tiring.
late night time slot shuffle, the biggest television blunder of all time.
Yes.
The switching.
Well,
Probably way up there, isn't it?
yeah, I should think
What
so.
were they thinking?
What is this blunder? I want to know.
TV Guide named the NBC late night time slot shuffle the biggest television blunder of all time.
Yes.
Time slot shuffle.
Well,
Probably way up there, isn't it?
yeah, I should think
What
so.
were they thinking?
They just didn't want to let anybody go. The people I think in charge they made decisions and then backed off on their decisions and tried to, it's like it was as ridiculous as some ridiculous farcical thing where you ask 2 girls to the dance, and then instead of telling one, look, I asked her first, you try and take them both.
I've had that happen. Why? Many times. Why?
He seems very concerned about people, though. Is that just DE or is it Decider? I'm getting to this point where I'm doubting everything I've just said, which is a good point to be at.
I was really happy, and I also was trying to develop things, which is an awful process. It's pearls before swine, if I may say. And I was happy to just go back to a place with people that I knew and loved, and just be able to make TV every day. Go and make.
Trying to develop things, which is an awful process.
TV every day, like what you do here. You just get to make TV every day. You don't have to
Okay. Yeah, it's fun.
think about it
Brain
and
surgery.
run it through all these filtration
In
systems.
2010, TV Guide named the NBC late night time slot shuffle the biggest television blunder of all time.
Yes.
The switching.
Well,
Probably way up there, isn't it?
yeah, I should think
What
so.
were they thinking?
They just didn't want to let anybody go. The people I think in charge they made decisions and then backed off on their decisions and tried to, it's like it was as ridiculous as some ridiculous farcical thing where you ask 2 girls to the dance, and then instead of telling one, look, I asked her first, you try and take them both.
I've had that happen. Why? Many times. Why?
That was an it's like this analogy. Could he be N? For some reason I think he's SF. Could he be NF? He could be NF. Maybe NF. SF or NF. Well, that I'm saying he's not T. Why am I saying that? Why am I thinking he's definitely not T? He's talking about feelings all the time, isn't he? Okay, I just remember that. What I was thinking, is he actually decider? We'll just have to pay attention. Is there ever an observer freak out moment? Because again, he was like worried about criticizing like this blunder, and he was like, "Yeah, I would say it's a blunder." He's like, "This is the worst blunder in television history," and it's like, "Yeah, some mistakes were made," and he is criticizing in the end, but it's not a gleeful criticism.
What was the thinking behind Jay Leno nightly at 10 o'clock? Stripped could work.
It was cheap. That was the main thing.
Obviously,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was cheap, and I think they're thinking, which I think they were doing with they were doing generally with the network was, do cheaper shows. They might get less ratings, but because they're so much cheaper, we'll still be able to keep the profits about the same. And I think that they thought that somehow that might work.
You were openly angry, you and Conan.
Yes, I was.
Openly angry.
Yeah, because it it really hurt our.
His reaction was, "I'm angry, not this is a bad decision." He didn't say you were openly protesting or you're openly saying it was bad. You're openly feeling anger. It's funny to me. Like, you're not openly critical of the decision. You're openly, personally angry. Because being angry is a valid criticism, is a valid reaction, argument. Why? Because I'm angry. That's a valid argument.
Our lead in, and then the lead in of those kind of things, it's tremendously important how many eyes are on the show previous to your show.
And then what did you make of the decision that Jay comes back and Conan goes?
Well, that decision was made. Well, yeah. Well, I guess there was that sort of like, we'll give Jay a half hour, and then the Tonight Show will be on at
midnight,
12:01 or something like that. And I actually was very proud of Conan that he said, "Look, forget it." Because I don't think it just would have been eventually. We just would have gotten pushed more and more and more, and Jay just would have. I think eventually, within a year or so, they would have said, "Look, we're just going to give Jay."
So Conan goes to TBS.
Yes.
Did you go right away?
Absolutely.
Yes? Yeah.
I felt I was kind of with him no matter what happened, because number one, I knew something was going to happen, and I also felt like the story. We didn't get to end the story. That somebody else had ended the story, and I felt like I can't step away now that this is ongoing, and I don't want. I didn't want this part of my life to be decided by mismanagement. I wanted it to be decided by kind of my own active choice.
And happy, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were you a stand-up?
No, I did improv comedy in Chicago.
Second City?
I didn't do Second City. I went Improv Olympic, which is also known as I.O. Now. Apparently the Olympic Committee got mad about the trademark infringement, so they become I.O. But Del Close is one of the kind of inventors of modern long-form comedic
They got mad
improvisation.
all
Taking
about
it from
F.
just being
F
theater
talk.
exercise into being an actual sort of performance.
Coming up more with my friend Andy Richter. Stay with us.
I feel like I'm missing a lot of what I'm missing a lot of what he's saying. Like it's just I'm like hearing a little bit and then sort of zoning out and then hearing a little bit. Concentration is difficult today. I'm thinking of my face paint. Is it coming off? Look at me, what the fuck? Why am I doing a video with this on? Hey, it's all for the show, guys. It's all for the show. I'm doing a demonstration afterwards. I'm going to a barbecue afterwards. Okay. I'm gonna terugspoelen a little bit because I missed that. I missed what he was saying. So we're going to listen again. Just a couple minutes. Literally.
Because it really hurt our lead in, and then the lead in of those kind of things. It's tremendously important how many eyes are on the show previous to your show.
And then what did you make of the decision that Jay comes back and Conan goes?
Well, that decision was made. Well, I guess there was that sort of like, we'll give Jay a half hour, and then the Tonight Show will be on at
midnight,
12:01 or something like that. And I actually was very proud of Conan that he said, "Look, forget it." Because I don't think it just would have been eventually. We just would have gotten pushed more and more and more, and Jay just would have. I think eventually, within a year or so, they would have said, "Look, we're just going to give Jay."
So Conan goes to TBS.
Yes.
Did you go right away? Say
Absolutely.
Yes? Yeah.
I felt I was kind of with him no matter what happened, because number one, I knew something was going to happen, and I also felt like the story. We didn't get to end the story. That somebody else had ended the story, and I felt like I can't step away now that this is ongoing, and I don't want. I didn't want this part of my life to be decided by mismanagement. I wanted it to be decided by kind of my own active choice.
Wants to be in control. See, this is talking about control, and I can't see the control freak out. I prefer it to be my own active choice. Based on my values. I don't know why I'm thinking it's FI. Again, could be FE. I've got to meditate on that question. Because I'm also thinking, what if it's actually T? Like, what if it's actually thinking? What could I just look more deeply in what he's saying, pay more closer attention to what he's saying, which granted I'm not paying so much attention today, so it's difficult, but if I would like to really listen deeply, would I actually hear that he's mainly talking about reasons or thinking savior reasons, savior T, and then sprinkling a lot of F in to make it look like it. As we've discussed several times, you're doing your demon because you realize that you ought to be doing it. Let's just keep listening. We'll keep listening, just keep taking in some more of this guy, Andy Richter, the Richter scale, Richter. And see if anything else pops out. I have not got much on masculine S versus feminine S. I haven't got much on OEOI. He just said something about I like to have control over what I do. And that makes sense if I'm talking about savior sleep. The only thing I'm quite confident about is savior sleep. I'm really. Again, I've made this mistake before of saying this is the one thing I'm quite confident about it, and then actually turning out not being the case, and you're like, what? Okay. But since the beginning, he's been slave your sleep. You know, he's been giving me all the. I don't want to expend too much. So let's. Okay. Now, before watching more, I'm going to think: could he be play? Could he be savior play? In which case, he would be aware that he should be saving his energy because he knows that he doesn't. It's about what he actually does, not about what he says. But he looks like physically he's being sleepy. No? Or is he being playful, expending energy with the tribe? He's answering the questions in a quite animated way. You know, he could have play, like very introverted lead play. Play, consume, sleep, blast. And there you're like, that's play, but it's play, but it's very balanced. Could it be that? I'm really confusing myself now.
And happy question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were you a stand-up?
No, I did improv comedy in Chicago.
Second City?
I didn't do Second City. I went Improv Olympic, which is also known as IO now. Apparently the Olympic Committee got mad about the trademark infringement, so they become IO. But Del Close is one of the kind of inventors of modern long-form comedic improvisation, taking it from just being a theater exercise into being an actual sort of performance.
Coming up more with my friend Andy Richter. Stay with us. We're back with Andy Richter. What's the I'm with Coco?
The I'm with Coco, that was something that kind of came out between the Tonight Show and doing the TBS show when we became, I don't know, folk heroes or something.
He did shows around the country, right?
Yeah,
Were you on those shows?
I was. Part of his agreement with NBC was that he couldn't be on television. So
you did Radio City.
Yeah, we did a number of live shows. A big part of that was I was still under contract to NBC, so I continued to be paid for a number of months after we left the Tonight Show. But the guys in the band were not getting paid, and a big part of it was just a way to kind of keep people getting paid.
Conan's a great guy.
He's a wonderful person. Yeah, very kind and very generous. He
All
can
right.
be a real dick sometimes, too, but he's, you know.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Illinois, in the Midwest.
Chicago?
Yeah, outside of Chicago, but I mean, you know, it was about an hour outside of Chicago, but for as scared and white as we were, we might as well have been 4 hours outside
What did your
Chicago.
parents think of your success and everything?
Of my success?
Are they living?
They were relieved, yes. They were very relieved, I think. They were always very supportive, but I don't think that they...
Thought you could make it?
Well, I don't think that it was as if I said I was gonna, be a dancer. I mean, I don't think that they thought that was something that anybody did for a living. And they didn't understand how it could work that you could do that for a living.
What was Andy Richter Controls the Universe like?
It was great. That was the first show that I did when I left Conan, and we got nominated for an Emmy for writing.
This about his parents. He asked him, "What did your parents think about it?" And he did immediately give an answer of, "Okay, I think they felt relieved." I think that's DE. Like he has thought about this. I feel like he does have a view of all lots of other people, because It's not DI. Like I don't know what they thought. Who cares? Like respect other people's views. Respect and tracks. And tracks other people. DE.
And it was a very well received show. It was very critically well received. Had a great cast, great writers, and just nobody saw it. You know, they kept, but they, you know, you get kind of jerked around. You know, I mean, I think we were on 4 or 5 different time slots.
What network?
On Fox, and it was also too. It was. You know, a lot of it is just who's running the network, and I think that we had so much support within the network among kind of the mid-level structure and the people that actually did the programming. But once you got to the kind of the men in the private jets, they didn't. You know, they were like, "What's this show about?"
Networks can be weird.
Yeah, very
You know,
weird.
Tim Conway and I, on my old radio show, said, we're going to do an NBC sitcom,
Yeah.
a show together, me and him, right? And we scheduled it out on our own, out of our head.
Yeah, yeah.
We called up one day, and we came to NBC in Burbank.
Yeah.
And they had a studio for us.
Really?
Yeah, to do our project.
Right.
We never called it.
It was, that's good.
We were slated for Friday nights at 8.
I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Would
Although
you-
at NBC, maybe you could.
Would you go back to acting?
Oh, sure, yeah. I still.
We came to NBC in Burbank.
Yeah.
And they had a studio for us.
Really?
Yeah, to do our project.
Right.
We never called it.
It was, that's good.
We were slated for Friday nights at 8.
Really? Is he paying attention to S? Like, I heard what you just said. It's like the facts, and like, what does that mean though?
I don't think you can get away with that anymore. Although at NBC, maybe you could.
Would you go back?
I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Back to acting?
Oh, sure, yeah. I still, when people are amenable to, you know, when TV shows kind of are flexible about their schedule and they can work around my Conan schedule, I still do guest spots. I did guest spot on The Millers just recently, the Will Arnett show on CBS.
That's a good show.
Yeah, it's a great show and doing real well.
Now, when you, like I asked you, who's on Conan tonight, you didn't know.
No, I don't know. Who's
So your daily life is like, what time do you get to the studio?
usually, well, a lot of times because I'll drop my kids.
He
off.
didn't
You get
know
to the
what.
studio. Conan tonight, you didn't know.
It's a great show and doing real well.
Now, when you, like I asked you, who's on Conan tonight, you didn't know.
No, I don't know. Who's
So your daily life is like, what time do you get to the studio?
usually, well, a lot of times because I'll drop my kids off at school and I'll go to the gym, you know, and work out or whatever. But I'm there probably between 10 and 11. You know, my day doesn't really get started. Rehearsal starts at 1, and that's kind of when I take over.
What do you rehearse?
Huh?
What do they rehearse?
I'm just realizing that if he's DE, which I think that's going to be my guess for today, then, and if he's sleep, then he can't be OE, because that would mean he's play. So he has to be OI. And that's blast first. And that means blast, sleep, consume, play, if he's info, which is also going to be my guess. He seems to be answering the question seriously and wants to give the correct, true answer. So, by default, OI. which doesn't seem too impossible. It just means blast first. And I was still unsure about whether he was blast or consume first. But I trust that he's blast first. I think that's possible. So OI and blast, which means blast, sleep, play, no, fuck, consume, play. Right. Now I'm going to look out for OI. I'm still haven't decided on decider or observer. I'm still on the fence about that one.
You've been there, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we do bits.
Yeah, we do bits. We have to. Well, but you know, you got to position the cameras. You got to cut the jokes that aren't good.
I love going on Conan.
Oh, good.
It's a
We
great
love
show.
having you.
Yeah, it's a great show to go
No,
on.
it's always great to have you.
You were also a force on Celebrity Jeopardy, huh?
A force. I like the way that
Well,
sounds.
you're a master.
I
of
did
trivia.
well. I did well. Yeah.
Do
I'm
they
real
ask tough
smart,
questions
Larry.
on that? Do they do tough questions?
Yeah, yeah. Well, though the Celebrity Jeopardy is.
Well, I went on that.
It's dumbed down.
You're real
who beat
smart,
Cliff
Larry.
Yeah,
What
I
is
did
it?
well.
I'm
Celebrity
so unconcentrated. I'm not following what the fuck they're talking about. Concentrate. Go.
Haven't you?
Yeah, it's a great show to go
No,
on.
it's
Okay,
always
let's
great to have you.
You were also a force on Celebrity Jeopardy, huh?
A force. I like the way that
Well,
sounds.
you're a master.
I
of
did
trivia.
well. I did well. Yeah.
Do
I'm
they
real
ask tough
smart,
questions
Larry.
on that? Do they do tough questions?
Yeah, yeah. Well, though the Celebrity Jeopardy is.
Well, I went on that.
It's dumbed down.
You know who beat me? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh.
And the category we give to charity, right?
Yeah.
The category he won was British royalty,
Oh,
and
really?
he majored in European royalty at UCLA.
Wow. That's a
Wiped
major.
Wiped us out. Yeah.
That was my reaction too. Like, that's a major? What the fuck? European royalty. I guess, in history. Hey, I'm not judging.
Wiped us out. What do you have favorite categories?
No, I don't know because I'm smart about everything. No, I would be actually the thing that would kill me would be sports trivia. I don't know, you know.
that I know.
Yeah, you
That
would
I
know.
would
You
do.
would know that. Sports trivia, I wouldn't.
You're not a
No.
sports fan.
See, so I'm smart about everything. Like, he's all right about doing that. I think he's quite. He does seem like he has like a nervousness, which could be the play last as well. Ooh, I've made him play last. Ah, interesting. But he's. I haven't seen a freak out. I haven't seen the freak out yet. Where is it?
I am sorta, you know, but I mean, but not enough to remember trivia. You know, I'm a playoffs fan. I don't pay attention to anything until it matters. Like sitting and watching a baseball game on TV in July, to me, seems like the most ridiculous waste of time. Now, if we go.
It's like, ooh, some people would.
Go to the park, I'll sit and watch a game in July because there's
People.
beer and hot dogs and it's fun to watch it. But until it matters, I know. You know, I've been watching it like this World Series. I've really been enjoying this World Series.
Me too. What kind of father are you? Are you close? Are you on top of things?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the wonderful things about my job is that I live 5 minutes from work. I am with my kids a lot. It's really being on TV doesn't matter that much, but being with my family and being a husband and a father is what really.
How old are the kids?
I got a son he's almost 14 and a daughter who's 9. So yeah, no, we're
Do they get along?
you know, they do. And my son is actually really so patient and so nice. Although he's getting to be a surly teenager.
That's the worst. I got 14 and 15.
Yeah.
They don't talk.
No, they don't want to.
Are they on the computer? Are they on the iPhone?
Yeah, he is. But he also is pretty reasonable. Like you can get it away from him, and he'll
Really?
kinda say, yeah, and he'll kind of say like, oh, all right, you can go into his room and say, give me the phone. I'm gonna go plug it in somewhere, and he'll be like, all right,
I'm not at that yet.
Yeah.
More with Andy Richter after this.
Oh no, adverts. Oh no, no adverts.
We have
Yay.
some social media questions for you.
Because I got the
Here's one Conan
premium.
will
I got the
enjoy.
YouTube
Right?
premium,
Crystal
guys.
Jane tweets, what's it like
Oh,
to be
yeah.
the true star of Conan, and what's the best part of your job?
To be the true star at Conan, well, I'm glad that she understands. And that's what the nicest part about being the true star is that,
It's humbling.
yeah, I don't have to toot my own horn. But they're the people who matter.
They know.
And well, the best part of my job is working with the people. And working with friends. That is they talk about life hacks. Work with friends. That's that's a shortcut to happiness.
Skull Mandibi asks, did you find that more wholesome comedians have more obscene personal comedic tastes?
Well, Skull Mandibi.
What a weird. Let's ask about you, Skull.
Wait, and it was. Do like dirty comics have dirty?
No.
Or clean
straight
comics?
tell dirty jokes off stage.
Not really.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think most clean comics, like we have a guy named Brian Kiley who's one of the best kind of clean comics there is, and he's not, he's a pretty straight-laced guy. He's not like some sort of filth monger like me.
Polky66 on Instagram. Do you ever wish that the couch you always sit on during interviews was a pull-out lazy boy?
No. I do wish I had a desk to hide behind. Because you got the right idea. Like
lean on something.
You can lean on something, and it's really like from here down is not the best thing to be looking at on TV.
Without naming it, have you had guests you disliked?
Oh,
listen.
you can lean on something behind.
Okay, he's talking about a thing. He's talking about something. Fuck. He's talking about something. Let's listen.
No.
Do you wish the couch you sit on
I do wish I
during...
had a desk to hide behind. Because you got the right idea. Like
lean on something.
You can lean on something, and it's really like from here down is not the best thing to be looking at on TV.
Okay, so he's talking about things, but it's just immediately to relate to people, and people are watching. So maybe he is the cider. I don't know. Maybe he is the cider. S. I have trouble with masculine S versus masculine N. I've got a general idea of what it means, but I can't. It's not quite clear, like when it appears. There's only that memory anecdote about it, but like you don't want the anecdote. You want to have the deep understanding, the core concept. Hey. So what is he saying? Look, he's showing with his hand
that the couch you always sit on during interviews was a pull-out lazy boy.
No. I do wish I had a desk to hide behind. Because you got the right idea. Like
lean on something.
You can lean on something, and it's really like from here down is not the best thing to be looking at on TV.
Without naming it, have you had guests you disliked?
Oh,
Without the name.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody that's really, there's Hollywood phonies. That's the worst thing.
Just get them right away.
Yeah, and they come out, and and especially to me, it's in a big dividing line is in the commercial break when you say hello to somebody. Are they still in publicity mode? Because that I just feel like, what are you doing? You can be off the clock with me. I don't care.
I know.
But you, like you say, you can tell that right away.
We play a game of If You Only Knew.
Okay.
Throw 'em at you, okay. Who's the first girl you ever kissed?
The first girl, Jana McCracken.
In Illinois.
In Illinois.
How old were you, Andy?
God, maybe 8.
You ever find out what happened to her?
No, I didn't.
Biggest splurge?
A house. You know what I mean?
You live in, where do you live?
I live in Burbank. Yeah.
Good old Burbank.
I just moved to Burbank about a year ago to be close to everything. My kids are they go to school close by. You know, we lived in the other house for about 11 years.
Where was that?
In Hancock Park in L.A. And it made life so much easier.
Favorite up-and-coming comic?
Oh boy, there's lots. Probably Ron Funches.
If you weren't a comedian or a sidekick, what would you be?
I would probably. I mean, realistically, I'd probably be writing advertising copy. I'd probably be in advertising.
Any weird habits?
I mean, just the normal weird ones.
Like? Okay.
Well, I've become I would say I'm very dependent on flushable wipes.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
TV
I like
show.
how you backed off that right away. It's
TV
the right choice.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
TV show you're embarrassed.
What? Flushable wipes. Right, we're not going to go into that. Maybe that was, I'm looking for the observer freak out. I want it to be an observer, actually. I want him to be an observer. Because I can't see, I see I see sort of the DE decider mode conversation, but I don't see the proper spikes. Maybe I can actually watch another video. Ooh, it's been a long time now. I've been recording for a long time.
To admit that you watch.
Oh, I'm not embarrassed by much, but
I like SpongeBob.
Oh, I love SpongeBob. There's nothing to be embarrassed about watching
it's hip.
SpongeBob. It's fantastic. I guess you know what? I probably those ghost hunter shows. I watch
you
those
watch
with
those?
I watch those with my daughter. I am absolutely disgusted by them. But if I'm flipping through and trying to find something for her to watch, and I see them because I know she loves them, I'll put it on. But I think it's just to get my dander up because it's like you guys are full of it in your affliction shirts.
If you were stuck on a desert island, what 3 things would you like to have?
Affliction shirt. See, he's angry at the people. I'm not seeing observer freak out. I'm seeing decider. Always. Every day. Babble. No. I don't want to be rude. Every day. Talk. Okay. S and N. Difficile. What's the thing is, if it's S, then that's my girlfriend Fiend, which is weird. And I'm trying to see, is this Fiend? I don't think so.
Have with you?
Satellite phone? Well, no, I guess. No, for survival? Well, it'd be like that. Well, here's another embarrassing show. That Naked and Afraid. You ever watch that?
No.
They put a man and a woman in the wilderness for 21 days, nude. And they each get to bring one thing, and it's usually like a machete and a fire starter.
What show is this?
It's called Naked and Afraid.
On what channel?
I don't know, one of those down the cable, you know, like
Yeah,
the
396.
Yeah, exactly.
Most uncomfortable moment on Conan.
The one that comes to mind, it's not so much uncomfortable as it was kind of scary. Is on the old Tonight Show, he had some sort of race stunt with Terry Hatcher, and he slipped on the floor and smacked his head on the floor and got a concussion. And I mean, so that was, and I was kind of the only one that noticed that he actually smacked his head on the pavement. You know, it's a cement studio floor. because I looked over at our producers, and they have a monitor right in front of them. And they're both like laughing and smiling, and I had to run over and go, he's hurt. He got up and he couldn't. You used to see birds flying around his head.
Finally, tell me something no one knows about you.
Oh.
Or are you a what you see is what you get?
Pretty what you see is what you get. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss for that.
You're bored.
Everybody knows. Yeah, I'm pretty dull. So
Andy, you're the best.
Great to see you, Larry. Thanks.
Andy Richter, and if he ever leaves it, he could be my sidekick.
All right, I'll be here.
Thanks
I
to
live
my
close.
guest, Andy Richter. Remember, you can find me.
What you see is what you get. Is that S? I was starting to think N. Like, fuck it, let's just say N. Okay, let's watch another quick
TV
video
guide,
to
named
see if there's anything else. Audition tape. Don Rickles gives it.
Yeah, Marty, it's very kind.
Oh,
of
this
Marty.
guy.
Great.
Fuck, this guy is so masculine. DE. Brr, brr. Like, fuck you. Just gassy.
Director.
Amazing.
And Robert De Niro was in the film, as you know, and I carried him. I said that to De Niro, and being the great actor he is, he went, and like an idiot, I went, right, Bob, you're right. He's a mumbler. And Sharon Stone, of course, was in Heat for me. And
You've had that problem, huh?
yeah, and she kept leaving me notes, and the wife refused to I kept moving the medicine away, and the wife kept saying, I'll take it, and I couldn't get near Sharon, but I'm much older than Sharon, but who cares? When the light goes out, it's every man for himself. So,
Oh, God.
but
Okay,
she's
come
a
on.
wonderful actor. Yeah, when you hear the bell, go to history. Got it right, Andy.
I do good. Conan, do good.
Attaboy, Andy. Patty cake bakers, man.
Let's go back.
Conan got it right, Andy.
I do good. Conan, do good.
Attaboy, Andy. Patty cake bakers, man. Bakers, man. I'm Andy. I'm Conan's sidekick. Oh! Where's the clown? Where's
What an asshole.
Bozo?
I'm getting paid the whole time.
Making good money doing that.
You don't, but what you're getting, make a stink. Anyway, Max, snap out of it. You're part of the show, Max.
Everything's fine, Max. You're doing another voiceover.
Yeah, we did a thing with Eric.
Okay,
Idle.
there's
It was
not
a
much
wonderful
on him. I would have thought if he's the cider and DE, I mean that would have been hard. But deciders are not always deciders. Like not all the time. They can take a joke. Come on, they can take a joke. But he takes a lot of jokes. I mean, he seems pretty cool. Come on, I don't get. It's not clicking. It's not all coming together in one lovely, unique 512 type. I wish it were. And maybe there's a couple things wrong already in what I've got so far. Jeopardy.
We're dealing with famous actors, and here is the clue. Ironically, he lost the leading role in the 1960 play The Best Man because he didn't look presidential. 30 seconds. Good luck, players.
Come on. Ah, fuck this music.
All right, Wolf, we'll start with Ronald Rake. Over to Dana, and her wage come to Andy. Couldn't be caught. Great game. He was on mark today, and he wrote down the correct response. And did he wager a lot? Yeah, look at that. $68,000 for the St. Jude Children's Hospital, and Andy gets to play again.
Wow. Is that just knowing a lot about people? Or is it In which case, why isn't he not play? Maybe he's not info dom. Could he be blast, sleep, play, consume? Nah, he's not consume last. We saw Dave yesterday. That was fucking consume last. My God. Maybe like I'll just, because I've got not much time, I'll just do anecdotally good memory. Even though it's about people, but
Semi-final game.
Fact.
What a day. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see if I can get some more sugar just quickly. Ooh. Ooh, 12 minutes.
You look snazzy.
Oh, I was just,
Decorating your big head? I don't blame you. It's a magnificent gourd.
your head's pretty big too, bub.
You amuse me. You've got a good, honest smell. Like potatoes.
Mr. Pickering, I see you've met Andy.
Pickering? As in...
Mr. Freddie Pickering. Just took over majority stock in the company when his mother passed away, for which I am so very sorry, sir.
At least she died doing what she loved most. Committing suicide. So, what's on your agenda when you're not kissing my ass?
Actually, I hadn't thought beyond that, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, so, my mother's death amuses you?
No.
Oh, so you have no sense of humor.
Wait, I can do this.
What an asshole.
Your mother's dead, and that's funny.
Let's just continue our little tour, shall we? When a lady goes out, she should wear a hat.
Look at me. I have an MBA.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, I'm Andy Richter, and this is The First Time. It's an Audible original, which is, I don't know what to call it, because it's kind of a radio play, but it's not on the radio. It's a narrative piece of work, episodic. It's in different episodes. It's basically a sitcom that is only audio. And it's called Vroom Vroom. It's about a car dealership, a struggling car dealership, and the people working there and sort of their year-end struggle to sort of keep the business afloat and the ridiculous lengths they go to. And I really enjoy doing voice work. It's a fun way to make a living. The fact that I get to do cartoon voices is just kind of a dream come true, like that, and being on a talk show when there are animal segments, like when, a Jack Hanna brings out animals. Those are like the two most important accomplishments to like the child, me, is like I get to do cartoon voices and I get to touch alligators and stuff. But it was a really funny script, and they paid me. I mean, I'm an actor, I work, and they came to me with this good project, and I did it. And it's a good cast, and it's a really funny show, and it's free. It's a sitcom you can enjoy while you're driving, which I wouldn't recommend with other sitcoms. It was pretty early on in the run because I had just kind of started. It was about at a place called the Annoyance Theater in Chicago, which is still there, still active. And I was taking classes there, and I was part of another show that we did there, which was improvised plays, just a kind of long form improv. And then they started to do on Tuesday nights the Real Life Brady Bunch. And I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. And then when I saw it, and I knew everybody in it, and they're all really talented people, which is what made it work. It was the funniest thing I had ever seen.
Yeah, just hold on a second.
Okay, I'm just going to guess now. I'm going to guess Decider SF Blast. and then sleep and consume, and then masculine S and feminine DE. That's my guess. And then let's do it. I want to know. So decider S F D E O I blast sleep info masculine S feminine DE. Let's see what it is. Observer. Okay. N F D I. Okay. OE. There, got a lot wrong. I have so far just the F. Consume, play. Oh, look at that. Is it energy or info? Info. Jesus Louises. Mine, good. Feminine S and feminine DE. Okay, so I got 3 right. Again, 3 out of 10. See, it's gonna take me a long time before I manage to stick it to all those people who say, oh, I've got my DNS type, so I know more than it about you. I'm gonna have to do a lot of more practicing before I manage. Yeah, good thing I've got my motivation. Consume, play, blast, sleep. What? Wow. That's a new one that sort of counts as a upside down typing, really. Upside down typing. Wow. I even tried to think, how could this actually be play above sleep? Remember? I like, okay, let's see. And I couldn't. That's how you learn. FI. I did talk about FI. And any. Well. Maybe that one moment he said, I want to just do my own thing. I don't want to be controlled. Maybe it wasn't like I want to control my own thing. I was like, I don't want to be controlled. I want to just do whatever I want. Just be free. That was the interpretation. So how can I start having the correct interpretation of things? See, I kind of need to have the right videos, I think. Otherwise I have to really look really deeply, like too deep into the meaning of what they're saying, because you can just pick up on 100 different details and just find, and the one that you happen to notice will point you to the right direction or the wrong direction. So it's definitely a good challenge. It's an interesting challenge. I like the challenge of learning to type. And it's extra challenging because so few people are able to do it the way Dave and Shan do. So DI, it's interesting. I did think DI, like, basically I had all the different I considered all of them, and I just sort of ended up on the wrong ones. Trying to defend myself here. I know it was this, and how could it be that? Play. This is good. I'm gonna rewatch the video. I watch all of my videos again, and I'm gonna just look out for it and see what It was info, wasn't it? But it was feminine S and masculine DE. No, feminine DE was correct. That we said 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 would actually be impressive. 3 out of 10 is still quite unimpressive. It's just like not right. Okay, well, that was my typing practice for today. I'm sure I've learned a lot. I definitely hope I did. And I hope you learned a lot too. And so that's it for me today. Have a lovely day and a nice weekend. Bye.